Have you noticed your muscles feeling weaker lately? Like you've lost strength without doing anything differently? Maybe you've had a harder time standing up from a chair, walking long distances, or lifting things that used to feel light. Most people assume this is just part of getting older. And yes, it's true that our bodies naturally lose some muscle after 60. But what if there's something in your diet that's speeding up that loss? Something you eat every day without realizing the damage it's causing? In today's video, we're going to talk about one of the most surprising threats to your muscles: sugar. Yes, sugar. It may look harmless in your coffee or feel comforting in your favorite dessert, but the truth is that sugar can quietly break down your muscle tissue, disrupt your energy, and weaken your body over time. For older adults, sugar isn't just about weight or blood sugar, it's about strength, movement, and independence. We'll explore the science behind how sugar increases inflammation, blocks protein synthesis, and causes insulin resistance, all of which contribute to muscle breakdown. Even more importantly, we'll explain how sugar sneaks into healthy foods, what to look out for on labels, and how small changes can help you protect your muscles and rebuild strength. If you're over 60, this might be one of the most important health changes you can make, because strong muscles aren't just about looking good. They help you stay mobile, prevent falls, and live life on your own terms. I know you are a person who likes to watch videos quietly. If you have not liked and subscribed to the channel, now is a good time to do it because you are a kind person. If the video is helpful, press 1. If the video is not good enough or needs improvement, press 2. Thanks everyone. Now let's get started. Number 1, sugar increases inflammation that destroys muscle tissue. Walter, a 73-year-old former bus driver, never thought twice about his sweet tooth. He wasn't one to overeat, but he loved his afternoon cookie, a little ice cream after dinner, and a generous spoonful of sugar in his morning coffee. Just the small pleasures in life, he would say with a smile. But over the years, those small pleasures seemed to come with a cost. His legs felt heavier. His hands didn't have the same grip strength. He got tired faster than he used to, even after short walks. He chalked it up to age until a routine blood test showed signs of chronic inflammation. His doctor gently explained that sugar might be playing a bigger role in his muscle weakness than he realized. Inflammation is the body's natural response to injury or infection. It helps us heal when we're hurt or sick. But when that inflammation becomes chronic, constantly simmering inside your body, it begins to damage healthy tissues, including muscle. And sugar is one of the biggest triggers of that low-grade, long-term inflammation. When you eat sugar, especially refined sugars like those found in soda, candy, baked goods, and even some packaged healthy foods, your blood sugar spikes. This triggers a cascade of internal reactions that cause your immune system to go into overdrive. If this happens often enough, your body begins to treat its own muscle tissue like a threat, slowly wearing it down instead of building it up. For older adults, this is especially dangerous. After the age of 60, we naturally start to lose muscle mass, a process called sarcopenia. But chronic inflammation caused by sugar speeds up this process, making the loss more dramatic and harder to reverse. Inflammation weakens the muscle fibers themselves and interferes with their ability to repair and grow after everyday activity. What this means in daily life is simple but serious. You feel weaker, slower, more tired, and more at risk for falls or injuries. Studies have shown that people with diets high in added sugars have elevated levels of inflammatory markers in their blood, such as C-reactive protein, CRP. These markers are closely linked to muscle loss, fatigue, joint pain, and even a weakened immune system. That's why something as small as a daily sweetened drink or a pastry with breakfast can quietly make your muscles more vulnerable, even if you're trying to stay active. When Walter learned about this connection, he was shocked. No one had ever told him that sugar could affect more than his waistline or his blood sugar levels, that it could be silently tearing down his strength. He didn't quit sugar overnight, but he started making swaps. He used cinnamon instead of sugar in his coffee. He reached for berries instead of cookies. He made oatmeal sweetened with banana instead of boxed cereals loaded with added sugar. Within a few weeks, he noticed his energy returning. He could walk a little farther, and his hands didn't ache as much when opening jars or carrying bags. Reducing sugar isn't about giving up all joy or flavor. It's about giving your body the best chance to heal and thrive. You don't have to be perfect. Just be aware. Start checking food labels. Look for ingredients like high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, or anything ending in -os. These are forms of added sugars that can trigger inflammation. Choose more whole foods, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins that fight inflammation instead of fueling it. Your muscles are still capable of getting stronger, even in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. But they can't fight inflammation on their own. That's your job, and it starts with what's on your plate. Have you noticed a difference in your energy or strength when you eat less sugar? Or have you ever made a change and felt your body thank you for it? Your experience might be the very thing someone else needs to hear. Coming up next, we'll explore how sugar doesn't just cause inflammation. It actually interferes with your body's ability to build new muscle in the first place. Let's take a closer look at the hidden damage sugar does to protein synthesis. Number 2, sugar reduces muscle protein. Synthesis Patricia, a 70-year-old retired librarian, had always prided herself on staying active. She did gentle yoga twice a week, walked her dog every morning, and made sure to include some protein at every meal. But recently, she started to feel frustrated. Despite her efforts to stay healthy, her body felt weaker. Her arms didn't have the same tone, and her legs felt sore even after short walks. Her doctor told her she was still losing muscle, and that surprised her. "But I'm eating enough protein," she said. What neither of them realized at first was that her sugar intake, not her lack of protein, was part of the problem. Protein is the building block of muscle. Every time you move, stretch, or even sit upright, your muscles break down slightly and then rebuild themselves through a process called muscle protein synthesis. It's like constant home repair. Small damage followed by small rebuilding. For this to happen properly, your body needs 2 things: adequate protein and the ability to use that protein efficiently. As we age, the efficiency of this process naturally declines, which means older adults need even more protein and support to maintain muscle mass. But here's where sugar gets in the way. When you consume high levels of sugar, especially refined sugars and sugary drinks, your body experiences spikes in blood glucose and insulin levels. Over time, this leads to a condition called insulin resistance, where your cells no longer respond to insulin as well as they should. Insulin is not only involved in regulating blood sugar, it also plays a crucial role in delivering nutrients like amino acids from protein into your muscle cells. When insulin resistance sets in, your muscles become less responsive to protein, even if you're eating enough of it. It's like having all the building materials for a house but no one to unlock the door and carry them inside. This means that even a well-balanced meal with chicken, eggs, or beans may not support your muscles the way it should if sugar is constantly interfering with insulin's function. And for older adults who already struggle with slower muscle recovery, this interference can lead to accelerated muscle loss, even when they think they're doing everything right. Patricia didn't realize her love for flavored yogurt, sweet granola bars, and low-fat muffins, all marketed as healthy, were packed with added sugars. Once she became aware, she started reading labels more carefully. She switched to plain Greek yogurt with fresh berries, made her own granola with oats and nuts, and cut out store-bought pastries altogether. She also swapped her sugary morning tea for herbal infusions and made sure her meals had enough high-quality protein. After a few weeks, she began noticing subtle but important changes. She had more energy, her recovery after walks improved, and her body felt more stable. Cutting back on sugar isn't just about reducing inflammation or avoiding weight gain. It's also about restoring your body's natural ability to use protein the way it was meant to keep your muscles strong, your movements steady, and your independence intact. If you're eating protein but still feeling weaker over time, consider the bigger picture. Sugar may be the silent factor blocking your progress. It doesn't mean you have to live without sweetness. There are plenty of naturally sweet foods, like berries, apples, or dates, that don't spike your blood sugar the same way processed sugars do. The goal is to balance your meals in a way that lets protein do its job. Your muscles are constantly working for you, and they deserve every bit of support you can offer. Have you ever felt like you were doing everything right but still losing strength? Have you looked at how much sugar is sneaking into your meals? The answers may be simpler than you think, and the path back to strength might be just a few mindful choices away. Up next, we'll dive deeper into how sugar affects insulin resistance, and why that's a major concern not just for diabetes, but for muscle health in seniors. Number 3, sugar causes insulin resistance that weakens muscles. Richard, a 76-year-old retired carpenter, had always been proud of his strength. Even in his late 60s, he could lift heavy things around the house and help his neighbors with small repairs. But in the past year, he started to notice a difference. His arms tired more quickly, and his legs felt like they didn't want to cooperate. When he went in for a checkup, his doctor mentioned that he was showing signs of insulin resistance, a term he'd heard in connection with diabetes, but never thought would apply to him. What Richard didn't know was that insulin resistance was also weakening his muscles, slowly but steadily, from the inside out. And sugar was a big part of the problem. Insulin is a hormone that helps regulate your blood sugar levels. When you eat, especially carbohydrates or sugary foods, your body breaks that food down into glucose, which enters your bloodstream. Insulin's job is to help move that glucose into your cells to be used for energy or stored for later. But insulin does more than handle sugar. It also plays a critical role in muscle health. It helps shuttle amino acids, the building blocks of protein, into muscle cells so they can grow and repair. Insulin acts like a key, unlocking the muscle cell's door to let those nutrients in. However, when your diet is consistently high in added sugars and refined carbs, your body starts producing more and more insulin to deal with the repeated blood sugar spikes. Over time, your cells stop responding to insulin properly. This is called insulin resistance. When that happens, not only does your blood sugar stay higher than it should, but your muscles stop getting the nutrients they need to stay strong. It's like having the right ingredients, but being locked out of the kitchen. No matter how much protein you eat, it can't get where it needs to go. For older adults, this is especially harmful. After 60, muscle mass naturally declines, and the body becomes less sensitive to insulin, even without excessive sugar. Adding a high-sugar diet to the equation only accelerates this decline, making it harder to hold on to strength and independence. The result? You may feel more tired, your muscles recover more slowly, and you lose power in your arms and legs, sometimes without even noticing until it's too late. Richard's daily routine included a sugary cereal in the morning, a sweetened iced tea with lunch, and a pastry or dessert in the evening. He didn't think of himself as someone who overindulged, just someone who enjoyed a little sweetness throughout the day. But when he understood the impact this sugar was having on his insulin and his muscles, he decided to make a change. He swapped his cereal for scrambled eggs and fruit, replaced sweetened drinks with water and lemon, and saved dessert for special occasions. After 3 months, his doctor noted an improvement in his insulin levels. And Richard noticed he could move with more ease, stand longer, and even carry heavier items again. Insulin resistance doesn't have to mean diabetes to be dangerous. It can quietly interfere with your muscle metabolism, weaken your body, and make recovery from physical activity more difficult. But it's also reversible, especially through diet. Reducing added sugar, eating more whole grains and vegetables, and staying physically active all help your body respond better to insulin and restore the natural flow of nutrients into your muscles. You don't have to eliminate all sugar to protect your strength, but becoming more aware of how sugar affects your insulin, and in turn your muscles, can empower you to make changes that truly matter. Every bit of progress you make helps you stay on your feet longer, hold your balance better, and live more fully. Have you ever been told you have insulin resistance? Have you noticed how sugar affects your strength or energy levels? You're not alone, and your story might help someone else wake up to what sugar is doing to their body too. In the next part, we'll look at another hidden way sugar weakens your muscles, by draining your energy and discouraging you from moving, which makes everything worse. Number 4, Sugar lowers energy and reduces movement. Ellen, a 71-year-old retired nurse, loved starting her morning with a muffin and sweet coffee. It gave her a little boost, she thought, something to help her get going. But by mid-morning, she often found herself sitting back down on the couch, too tired to finish the housework she'd planned. After lunch, the same thing happened. A little energy after eating, followed by a slump that made her want to nap instead of take her usual walk. Over time, these small drops in energy led to a big drop in activity. She started skipping walks more often. Climbing stairs felt harder. Her legs lost strength, and she began to fear falling. She blamed aging, until she learned the surprising truth about how sugar was quietly draining her energy and weakening her muscles. Sugar may feel like a quick source of energy, and in some ways it is. When you eat a sugary food, like pastries, sweetened drinks, or candy, your blood sugar rises fast, which gives you that short burst of energy. But what goes up quickly almost always comes crashing down. Your body releases insulin to bring your blood sugar back down, and often it overcorrects, leaving you with a sudden drop in energy, focus, and motivation. These sugar crashes don't just make you sleepy, they make you less likely to move, and that's where the real damage begins. For older adults, movement is everything when it comes to maintaining muscle. The phrase "use it or lose it" becomes very real after the age of 60. Muscles stay strong by being used, through walking, stretching, lifting groceries, gardening, even standing and sitting. But when sugar makes you feel tired, sluggish, or low in motivation, you move less. And when you move less, your muscles begin to shrink from lack of use. This kind of muscle loss happens silently and steadily, and once it starts, it's much harder to reverse. Beyond energy crashes, sugar affects your mental clarity and emotional drive too. It can leave you feeling foggy, irritable, or unmotivated, all of which reduce your interest in physical activity. And the less active you are, the weaker your muscles become, and the more likely you are to rely on others for help with tasks you used to do easily. This creates a cycle. Sugar drains your energy, you move less, your muscles weaken, and you become even less able to stay active. Ellen didn't think her diet was unusual. A muffin here, a soda there, a scoop of ice cream after dinner, nothing extreme. But when she looked closer, she realized she was getting added sugar in almost every meal. With guidance from her doctor and the encouragement of a friend, she started small. She swapped her morning muffin for a boiled egg and whole grain toast. She drank water with lemon instead of sweetened tea. She started keeping fruit on hand instead of cookies. Within weeks, she had fewer energy crashes, and her afternoons became more active. She found herself choosing movement, and her muscles responded. The human body is built for movement, and the more you move, the more your muscles stay active, nourished, and strong. But sugar can rob you of that natural rhythm by giving you fake energy that fades fast and leaves you drained. Cutting back on sugar isn't just about weight or diabetes. It's about protecting your energy levels so you can stay mobile, strong, and independent. Think about your day. Are there moments when you feel tired or unmotivated not long after eating? Have you noticed a pattern of wanting to sit more and move less? Sugar might be at the root of that. And the solution might be as simple as switching what's on your plate. In the next section, we'll talk about how sugar doesn't just harm by what it does, but also by what it replaces in your diet. Let's look at how sugary foods push out the nutrient-rich options your muscles truly need to thrive. Number 5, sugar replaces nutrient-dense foods that build muscle. Margaret, a 74-year-old widow living in a small town in Ohio, loved to keep her kitchen stocked with her favorite treats. A few cookies in the jar, a box of breakfast cereal, sweetened yogurt, and a little chocolate for the evenings. She never considered herself unhealthy. She cooked simple meals, didn't overeat, and stayed within what she believed was a reasonable amount of sugar. But over time, she noticed something troubling. She was losing strength. Her arms felt softer, her legs weaker, and even walking to the mailbox started to feel like a challenge. Her doctor mentioned her muscle mass had decreased noticeably over the past year, and although she was eating enough calories, she wasn't getting enough of what her muscles truly needed: quality nutrients. The culprit wasn't just what she was eating, it was what she was not eating. because sugar had taken up too much space on her plate. One of the most overlooked dangers of sugar is that it often displaces nutrient-rich foods in your daily diet. Every time you fill up on sugary snacks, sweetened drinks, or desserts, you're creating less room for the foods your body depends on to repair and maintain muscle, especially as you age. This doesn't just apply to obvious sweets. Sugar hides in sauces, salad dressings, breads, and even canned soups, silently pushing out proteins, vitamins, minerals, and healthy fats that support muscle health. After the age of 60, your body's ability to absorb and use nutrients declines, meaning you need to be even more intentional about every bite. Muscles require regular intake of high-quality protein, as well as key nutrients like vitamin D, magnesium, calcium, and omega-3 fatty acids. These elements work together to reduce inflammation, stimulate muscle repair, and maintain balance and coordination. But sugary foods are often low in these nutrients, if they contain any at all. When your meals and snacks are made up of foods that satisfy your sweet tooth but don't nourish your body, your muscles are left hungry and unsupported. Margaret's daily meals had slowly shifted over the years. Instead of eggs and vegetables in the morning, she had sweetened cereal or a muffin. Lunch was a quick sandwich on white bread with fruit juice. Dinner might be pasta with a sweet sauce and a cookie for dessert. She wasn't overeating. In fact, sometimes she didn't feel hungry enough for big meals. But the small things added up. Her doctor recommended she track not just how many calories she ate, but what kinds of foods were taking up space on her plate. With the help of her daughter, Margaret began making small swaps. She added scrambled eggs and avocado to her breakfast a few times a week. She replaced her sugary yogurt with plain Greek yogurt and added fresh berries. For lunch, she added beans to her salads and chose water instead of juice. At first, she missed the convenience and comfort of her old favorites, but within weeks, she noticed a difference. Her energy was steadier, she felt stronger when rising from a chair, and her balance improved. She even felt more mentally clear. It's easy to think of sugar as an extra, something small that you enjoy alongside your meals. But in reality, sugar often takes the place of better options. It crowds out foods that provide your muscles with the support they need to function well, especially when they're already fighting the natural decline that comes with age. If you're not sure whether sugar is replacing nutrient-dense foods in your diet, try this. For one day, write down everything you eat and drink. Then ask yourself, how much of it truly nourished your muscles? How much came from whole foods like fish, eggs, legumes, nuts, vegetables, and whole grains? And how much of it was sweet, processed, or lacking real nutrition? It's not about cutting out every treat forever. It's about making room. Room on your plate and in your life for foods that strengthen you from the inside out. Sugar doesn't just add sweetness. It often takes away something far more valuable, the strength you need to stay active, independent, and in control of your life. Coming up next, we'll uncover how sugar can still sneak into your diet, even when you think you're eating healthy. Let's talk about hidden sugars in foods marketed as good for you, and how they may be quietly working against your muscles. Number 6, hidden sugars in healthy foods are sabotaging your strength. Janet, a 69-year-old former school administrator, prided herself on eating clean. She started her mornings with yogurt and granola, sipped fruit smoothies in the afternoon, and snacked on protein bars when she got hungry between meals. She avoided obvious junk food, no cookies, no candy, no soda. And yet, she was puzzled. Her doctor told her her muscle mass was declining faster than expected. She felt tired more often, had a harder time climbing stairs, and noticed her arms and legs looked thinner. How could this be? She was doing everything right, or so she thought, until her daughter, a nutrition student, asked her to look more closely at the labels of the healthy foods she was eating every day. What Janet found was shocking. Her favorite granola had 12 grams of added sugar per serving. The yogurt? Another 15 grams. The fruit smoothie she bought from the store? Nearly 30 grams. Even the protein bar, marketed as a fitness food, contained more sugar than a candy bar. Janet hadn't been eating cake and soda, but she had been unknowingly flooding her body with hidden sugars in the name of health. And those sugars were quietly sabotaging her efforts to stay strong. This is one of the most common and dangerous traps older adults fall into. As more people try to make better food choices, the food industry has responded with products labeled low-fat, all-natural, high-protein, or heart-healthy. But many of these foods are heavily sweetened to make up for flavor lost when fat or salt is removed. These sugars don't always taste overly sweet, but they're there, and they're powerful enough to increase inflammation, impair insulin sensitivity, and interfere with your muscles' ability to absorb and use protein. After 60, your muscles need consistent support. You can't afford to be misled by clever packaging or fancy branding. Every bite counts. And when hidden sugars are part of your daily routine, even in so-called health foods, they add up fast, pushing your body toward weakness rather than strength. The worst part is, you may believe you're doing everything right while your muscles are quietly breaking down. Janet didn't blame herself. How could she? She trusted the labels, trusted the marketing. But once she understood the truth, she made some powerful changes. She switched to plain Greek yogurt and added her own berries. She made smoothies at home using unsweetened almond milk, spinach, banana, and a scoop of protein powder she chose herself. She started reading the sugar content on labels, aiming for products with less than 5 grams of added sugar per serving, or none at all. And she didn't stop enjoying food. In fact, she said it became more satisfying because she knew it was truly nourishing her body. Within just a few weeks, Janet felt the difference. She had more energy throughout the day. Her muscles felt more responsive during exercise. She could carry groceries with less strain and notice fewer aches in her joints. What she thought was just aging turned out to be partly driven by sugar, hidden in places she never expected. If you're trying to eat healthy, that's already a huge step in the right direction. But don't stop there. Take a closer look at the nutrition labels on the foods you trust. Words like organic, whole grain, or low fat don't guarantee low sugar. Watch out for ingredients like cane juice, agave nectar, brown rice syrup, honey, and molasses. They're all sugar by a different name. Ask yourself, is this food building my body up or quietly breaking it down? Being mindful doesn't mean being afraid of food. It means making sure every meal helps you feel stronger, not weaker. Next, we'll look at the long-term consequences of too much sugar, especially how it increases the risk of frailty, falls, and losing your independence as you age. This is where sugar's impact becomes not just physical, but life-changing. Number 7, sugar increases risk of frailty, falls, and loss of independence. George, an 80-year-old Army veteran, had always been proud of his independence. He still drove himself to the grocery store, mowed his own lawn, and took care of his wife, who had limited mobility. But over the past year, things began to change. He stumbled once while getting out of bed, then again while reaching for something on a high shelf. His legs felt less steady, his arms lacked strength. A simple walk around the block left him winded and sore. His doctor gave him a word he hadn't heard before, but that hit hard: frailty. It wasn't a disease. It was a condition that meant his body, especially his muscles, had become weak enough to put his independence at risk. What made it worse was that George's diet, though not excessive in calories, was high in sugar, and that was accelerating the decline more than he realized. Frailty isn't something that happens overnight. It builds slowly, often without clear warning signs, until one day standing up feels harder, carrying groceries is a struggle, and walking becomes something you think twice about. And while age plays a role, one of the most powerful drivers of frailty is muscle loss. A loss that sugar, unfortunately, helps to speed up in more ways than one. Sugar contributes to frailty through a dangerous combination of chronic inflammation, insulin resistance, and impaired muscle protein synthesis. The exact issues we've explored in earlier sections. But when these processes work together over months and years, they lead to something more serious: a loss of functional strength. This means not just muscle shrinking, but your ability to live normally slipping away. It's the difference between walking and using a walker, between living at home and needing daily assistance, and yes, between rising from a fall and being stuck on the ground. Older adults who consume high amounts of sugar are more likely to experience low grip strength, slower walking speed, reduced balance, and even cognitive decline, all of which are defining signs of frailty. These outcomes aren't just physical, they impact your emotional well-being, your confidence, and your sense of control. It's no exaggeration to say that too much sugar can eventually cost you your independence. George never thought a few desserts or sweet drinks would lead to something this serious. But once he understood how deeply sugar could affect not just his muscles, but his future, he became motivated to make a change. He worked with a dietitian who helped him cut back on added sugars, balance his meals with more protein and healthy fats, and reintroduce gentle strength-building exercises. It wasn't easy. Change never is. But within months, his strength began to return. His balance improved. He didn't need to hold on to the furniture when walking across the living room anymore. And more than anything, he felt in charge of his life again. There's a powerful truth here. Frailty is not an unavoidable part of aging. It's a warning, and one that gives you the opportunity to take action. By reducing your sugar intake, improving your nutrition, and staying physically active, you can delay or even prevent frailty. You can hold on to your strength, your mobility, and your freedom longer than you might think possible. If you've ever feared becoming dependent on others, needing help with everyday tasks, or losing the ability to live life on your own terms, then now is the time to take a closer look at what's fueling your body. Sugar might taste sweet, but its long-term effects are anything but. Reclaiming your strength starts with removing what breaks it down and replacing it with what builds you up. So take a moment, reflect on your meals, your energy, your stability, and ask yourself, what can I change today to protect my independence tomorrow? Coming up next, we'll bring everything together in our final thoughts. A message of encouragement and a reminder that your body is still ready to heal, grow, and get stronger at any age. Conclusion. As we've uncovered throughout this video, sugar is more than just a sweet treat. It can be a silent saboteur of your strength, your balance, and ultimately your independence. From increasing inflammation and blocking protein synthesis to draining your energy and replacing the very nutrients your muscles depend on, sugar quietly chips away at the foundation of healthy aging. And perhaps most alarming of all, it often hides in foods we think are healthy, making it even harder to catch before the damage is done. But the good news is this: your body hasn't given up. Your muscles still respond. Your strength can still grow. And no matter your age, it is never too late to take action. Cutting back on sugar doesn't mean cutting joy out of your life. It means choosing foods that build you up rather than break you down. It means fueling your body with what it truly needs: real nourishment, steady energy, and consistent movement. We really appreciate you spending time with us today. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to give it a like and hit that subscribe button. It's a simple way to support our work, and it helps more people discover the tips they need to live healthier, happier lives. And if you want to stay up to date, just click the notification bell so you won't miss any of our future videos. See you again soon.